when I was studying basic research. The need of basic research brought me to do investigation using particular type of techniques. And in the time, then more and more I did understood that this could be useful also for the clinical laboratory. In particularly, we use magnetic resonance technique and mass spectrometry technique to develop new methods for the detection of biomarkers. Not only blood biomarkers, but also markers from different type of human excretion, from sweat, tears, saliva. So the markers we study most, just to give you an example, were end-stage renal disease biomarker, which is extremely important for a very ample population. I mean, kidney diseases with the aging population is getting more and more common. And so we concentrate on discovery of early biomarker, though just very recently more and more companies are getting to introduce this type of detectors, call it so, in particular mass spectrometry, into the medical field, into the discovery of new biomarker. These detectors are much less demanding from the point of view of the reactive solution that you use, but they are much more difficult to be used by a general technician. I believe that the future of laboratory medicine is going towards this type of techniques, which do not require, as I said, a lot of reactants and expensive. On the other side, we do understand that the requirement of particularly third world countries, but also of the general population, is to be entitled to do more and more their own practical testing. And so, which is called, this is another field, obviously, but this another field I am becoming more and more important. POCT, I mean, a possibility to do his own testing at home, or anyway in a not complex environment, not in the hospital. The main line that I see for the future are new technologies, so new machineries, call it like this, mass spec in specific, but on the other side, simplification and getting more and more down to the nitty-gritty, I mean, to make available testing for general population, which might do it for themselves. But now, and this is the third line that I think is the real future. To do this, you need the ability to interpret the results. I mean, general people making their own exams at home, they might really have misunderstanding and they must need a guide. That's the reason why you usually go to a hospital to get your test done. And what is happening, and this is a real revolution in my opinion, is nothing to do with machineries or techniques, but is going to do with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence the last 2 years has been introducing enormous innovation into the field, and we are still not able to grasp exactly what is going to happen in the very near future. Not in 10 years' time, but I would say in 1 year time already, we will see the effect of what artificial intelligence is going to be being applied to laboratory medicine. And I tell you what it is, I mean. It's easy for the research to develop new testing. It's easy for artificial intelligence to increase or to enlarge even the application, but then you have to go to the market and sell it. And if you have no approval for selling, there is no way. I say perhaps European Union is changing its attitude, and there is a committee working, starting actually very recently, December 25, so a few months ago, to make the legislation less cumbersome and less difficult. FDA in the States, they're already doing it, and they started already simplification of the regulatory already last year. So it's a very recent attitude. Apparently, Europe and America understood that making it so complicated, it make it so burdensome and so difficult, making increase in the prices and so on. On the other side, it's true that we need safety. I remember when I was director of laboratory of the university hospital, we were dealing with new instrumentation coming from China, and I'm talking about 10 years ago, 10 years ago, and we were quite, how could I say, suspicious. And so I wouldn't say under my direction, we use mostly American or European machineries, standard machineries. But I'm really more and more convinced that what China did it in this field is incredible. And particularly now working in strict contact with the companies, I met more and more Chinese companies which are actually buying European companies. Recently also in where I do work, Mirandola, my Technopole, which I am director of, is situated in Mirandola, is in between Milan and Bologna, and it's a big area for companies producing devices. And more Chinese companies now are present, and their quality and their level is definitely up to the European and the American level, not only, but I'm convinced that particularly in the last application are getting better and better, and this is not because I'm here, but because I tested it with my hands. What I do find now instead, I mean in the recent years, more and more different preparations, different sources are coming into laboratory medicine, particularly engineering. So in our laboratory we set up recently, as I told you, half of the staff is engineering, and only part of it is biologically minded. 1-2 medical doctors only we have, then biotechnology, and then engineering, software, developing of new sensors, and this is what it is. Laboratory medicine is getting more and more integrated